It was a quiet night, the kind that usually ends with a glass of water, a blanket, and mindless scrolling through spam emails and forgotten newsletters. That's exactly what I was doing when it hit. An email from my daughter, timestamped 10:37 p.m. The subject line read, "No hard feelings, Dad." I opened it casually at first. But by the time my eyes reached the bottom, something in me cracked. "Hi, Dad. Just wanted to let you know Brandon and I are getting married in Paris next month. The chateau's booked. The guest list is finalized, and I'm so excited to marry the man of my dreams surrounded by people who truly matter. Weddings can be awkward, so we've decided not to invite you. Nothing personal, just trying to keep it stress-free. If you still want to be a part of it, you can always watch the chateau through Google Earth. You might even catch a glimpse of the fun. Oh. Take care, Emily." No invite. No explanation. Just a polite slap in the face wrapped in emojis and a passive-aggressive giggle. The daughter I helped raise, nurture, and support had reduced me to a stranger watching from space. What stung the most wasn't even the coldness of the message, it was the fact that I'd paid for that venue. $47,000. Wired in full. No questions asked. No hesitation. When she and Brandon struggled to make the deposit, I sent the funds within an hour. Because I thought I was helping build her dream. Her future. Our shared moment. I didn't reply. Didn't curse. Didn't even blink for a moment. I just leaned back, let the silence sink in, and smiled. Not out of peace, but because something inside me shifted forever. I was done being the father who begged for a seat at the table. That night, I became a man who plots with precision. I didn't call her. Didn't ask why. I already knew. Brandon had changed her. Ever since he entered the picture, Emily became colder. Less grateful. Less connected. "Thanks, Dad," turned into, "Well, you should have done that anyway." She only reached out when she needed something. Money for rent, funds for her new dog, capital for Brandon's startup that never even made it past a logo. I gave it all. $142,000 over 3 years. And still, I wasn't good enough to sit at her wedding. But I wasn't about to let that money go quietly. First, I pulled every receipt. Every transfer, invoice, and email chain. I confirmed that not only had I paid for the venue, but for the dress deposit, her Instagram-famous dog, Brandon's business, their apartment's down payment, and more. She may have forgotten the details. I hadn't. Next, I made a call to Jacques, a lawyer in Paris I once helped pro bono when he got scammed by a tech vendor. I asked him to confirm if Chateau de Bellure was still under my name. He replied after a short pause, "Yes. You paid in full. No transfer was made." Good. I had Jacques begin the legal steps to revoke Emily and Brandon's access. Since they never held official reservation rights, it wasn't hard. The name on the booking reverted to mine. I immediately leased the property to a major fashion house shooting a campaign that weekend. A healthy profit, yes, but that wasn't the point. I was about to teach them both a lesson in gratitude and respect. I didn't answer any of Emily's follow-up messages, not that she sent many. I went completely off the grid. I booked a trip to a remote mountain lodge. No Wi-Fi. No reception. Just firewood and peace. I wanted the chaos to hit while I sipped coffee with a mountain view. On the wedding day, Emily pulled up to the chateau in a white vintage Rolls-Royce. Her veil was perfectly pinned. She clutched a champagne flute like a trophy. Brandon sat beside her in a borrowed tux, scrolling his phone, smug and clueless. But something was off. There was no valet greeting them. No decorations. No music in the distance. Just a stern security guard and a clipboard. Names? Emily Thompson, she said proudly. Bride. There's no event under that name, the guard replied flatly. This property is currently reserved by Maison Valence for a private fashion shoot. No guests allowed. Brandon sat up. That's a mistake. We booked this venue? The guard cut him off. Someone booked it. But it wasn't you. Photographers began moving in behind the couple. Models swept past in elegant gowns. Crew shouted in French. A sign hung on the gates, private shoot. No trespassing. Emily froze. No, 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 no. This is my wedding day, she screamed. Cameras were already rolling, her influencer friends capturing the meltdown in real time. One of them whispered, "Wait, isn't this her dad's place?" Another added, "Why didn't he come?" She dialed me. I didn't pick up. 11 missed calls by noon. Meanwhile, I was deep in the woods, listening to the sound of silence and birdsong, sipping dark roast from a chipped mug. Back at the chateau, reality came crashing down. The guests were stranded. The florist left. The photographer packed up. Her fantasy had shattered like glass under designer heels. And the best part? That wasn't even the end of it. Brandon's startup, the one I funded, was mine. Legally. I had inserted full control clauses into every agreement before giving them assent. The moment I revoked my name, the bank froze their accounts pending legal clarification. Brandon's company, non-existent. His reputation, destroyed. 2 days later, they were holed up in a rental car, mascara smudged, tucks wrinkled, phones dead from non-stop calls from angry guests and unpaid vendors. Why did your dad do this? Brandon finally snapped. Emily whispered, he didn't cancel it. He owned it. Wait, he owns this venue? She looked up slowly. Not just the venue. Back at my cabin, I opened my phone. Dozens of voicemails. Messages from Emily. One stood out, an old photo of us from her childhood. Her message, can we go back to this? I stared at it for a long while. Finally, I replied, when you value people over appearances, we can talk. Then I turned off my phone and let the forest reclaim my attention. The TikTok video her guest posted? 5.3 million views. Bride gets left at her own wedding by the man who paid for it. The internet dubbed it poetic justice. I called it closure. Emily and Brandon broke up 2 weeks later. Apparently, without money, there wasn't much love to go around. Her apology came late. So did her realization. But mine came exactly on time. I didn't just take back my money, I took back my dignity. And for the first time in years, I slept like a man who had nothing to prove, and nothing left to give to people who never deserved it.